Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the HeartStream Musings podcast. I'm so excited for this episode. And today we have a beautiful guest. Her name is Deondra Carter from Mindful Freedom. She is an intuitive guide and a hypnotherapist. And she is also an online friend. I have a lot of online friends. So it's always nice to connect. And, I met her through this different spiritual community of sisters. And I saw that she was talking about self-love and inner child work and healing. And anytime that I find someone who is into inner child work, I'm always fascinated about how they began. Where did they start? What is their journey with it? And it's just almost like kindred spirits in a way, because I don't see too many people flaunting it. It's always just some part of, everyone's healing journey at one point or another. And so I'm just super excited to have you on here and welcome you, Deondra.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm so excited to be here and just very happy to see you
I know.
online and to be with you today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for just being on here. It feels so good to share and connect in this work. And so I would love to know, how did you even get started into this work, finding inner child work, everything, becoming an intuitive guide, a hypnotherapist? Would love to know the backstory.
Oh my goodness. Okay, how much time do we have? Okay. Well, I've been on this spiritual journey for over 20 years. It started with a traumatic experience when I was 18, and that led to a spiritually transformative experience of connecting with a tree, an oak tree. Yeah, just feeling that spirit of the tree
Oh
and
my
of Mother
gosh.
Nature, and of totally feeling like healed, basically, which is sounds crazy, but it was really amazing.
Wait, can you go into that? What did you mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was just like super distraught, like even a couple months after the experience. And I was just like, God, I don't know what else to do. What else can I do? And spirit kind of led me. I was like parked in my car or something. I was next to a park that had all of these beautiful oak trees, which are really magnificent, powerful trees. And it just said, just go to the tree. Just go to the tree. So I went to this tree and I'm like, what am I, I was not spiritual at that point at all. I was just like, what am I supposed to be doing with this tree? And it just led me to go, it was to climb up. It was like a very easy tree to climb. And I just kind of cradled myself in the little nook. And it just sent me so much love.
Wow.
It's just what I needed. And I felt, I just sat in that tree for hours. I don't really, it was a really long time.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, it was just beautiful. And I was like, this is weird. This is amazing. This is like, I need to know more about this. And that just led me to reading books and meditating. And I went on to go to massage school, which really helped me with my healing journey of being comfortable in my body, and also, activating a lot of tools, basically a lot of spiritual tools, and my psychic or my intuitive abilities. I wouldn't say psychic, but intuitive abilities.
Yeah.
So it was like the impetus of a journey. Mhm.
Wow. So it was almost like transmission in a way of just being did you have a spiritual um connection before at
No,
all? So was
no.
it very foreign for you to even ask for help, right? To spirit or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised in the church, but I just wasn't connected to God in any way. I just was like,
Right.
it's just a thing that we do. But this was just beyond God or any concept that I had of healing or of anything. It was just, yeah, it was the start of a very interesting journey.
Oh my gosh, it's like the form of in the Testament, they talk about Moses' burning bush. Yours is this oak tree.
And every time, like if I see a beautiful tree, I'm gonna go hug it. I am a tree hugger.
Oh my God. Okay. So the reason why you're like, why is this girl so fixed on trees? Well, the reason why I am is because when I went to Mount Shasta a year ago, that's when my love of trees got activated. Like, I kid you not, I was such not a tree hugger, but something there happened. I don't know, just awakened like this Kundalini
Mhm.
energy in me or whatever. And now I was explaining it to my partner the other day of why I love trees so much, because I literally feel their spirits.
And
A
they have
100%.
spirits. If they're
Yeah.
especially these old trees, they are absorbing the energy of the earth and the cosmos for hundreds of years. And
Wow.
it's they're very powerful, very energetic.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. I love this. I love this confirmation and validation.
Yeah, yes, you're connecting with a very powerful and wise being. So
Oh my goodness. So you
yeah.
got into massage therapy school. And so where did you go from there? So was a lot of your work like really just focused on the body?
Mhm.
At that point, were you including spiritual modalities into massage therapy?
No, not at that point. It was just about the body. But when you're connecting in that way, you start getting downloads and all these different things. I was
Mm.
very, very open at that time. But the massage school helped ground me. I was like in my
Oh.
body instead of out in the cosmos, in the universe. So that was a really healthy and really good practice. It's just like if you're doing yoga, you are
Mm.
very connected, but you're also in your body, which we need to be in our bodies. That's why we're here.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
yes, it
Uh-huh.
was very helpful for that. And then I went on to do a bunch of other different things that weren't like related to spirituality. But I was drawn back into it when I was having a very tough time. And my friend
Mm.
sent me to a Reiki initiation or workshop. I had no idea what it was. I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And I got activated like, oh man, and that just blew off my ego, like everything. It was crazy. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Wow. And you had never had Reiki done on you before, but you went to that school. Hmm.
No, I just went to a one, like it was like a 1 day or 2 day training, but my friend said, you need this, just go. And I was like,
Mm.
I don't, I got there, I was like, oh, I don't have money to pay for this. She was like, it's fine. Just like random people just come to me all the time. It's fine. You're just meant to be here. Just do it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes, and I've been doing that now for over 12 years. Just, working on myself, friends and family. It's a really healing, gentle practice. But when you get your initiations, like every time something changes in my life and like things just like if it needs to go, it goes. If it needs to come in, it comes in. My last initiation I got in 2019, and
Mhm.
I just picked up and left New York. I was like, I'm done. We're done. We're time to go.
Oh, wow. So what kind of, because you mentioned, I mean, we all talked about how you were an intuitive guide. And so how do
Mhm.
you use your own intuition and tap into it when you have those big decisions that you need to make?
It's literally just a feeling like
Mm.
it's just time to go. Yeah, it's so with Reiki as well, it definitely helps you open up your intuition and you just start getting like it's basically just like a knowing. You just can't
Mm.
deny it. You just can't argue with it. It's just like, okay, that's what it is. Okay, it's time to go. Let's go.
Y- Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I started reading tarot from that, and it's just, yeah, it's been a fun, interesting journey.
Yeah. And how did you get into tarot?
That was a good one. I was in New York. I was
Hmm.
like walking home from work or something one day, and I saw one of those spiritual bookshops. It's like, this looks nice. So I went in there, and this deck of cards just popped out at me, like just those, when a book is like, buy me. this deck of cards is like, buy me. And I was like, I don't read tarot, but okay, I'll buy it. And I just started playing around with it, just reading for myself and then reading for friends and then just on and on and on.
And so you
Mhm.
almost have this instant connection to it immediately. And so for
Mhm.
you, were you working on it on yourself or how would you use it?
Yeah, I was just working on it for myself at first, just seeing what comes through, what kind of guidance comes through. Just as it's another tool to communicate with your higher self, your guides, your angels. And
Mhm.
so now I get to use it for other people, which is really fun. I just love doing it. And I'm like, is it going to be accurate? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And so for someone who hasn't really tapped into using tarot, how would you suggest that they would use it?
well, definitely get your own deck. I would say that's not been used by anybody else, just, that has your energy so that you can really connect with it. And basically, I do like a prayer. I connect with my higher self and my guides, and you can do the same, whoever you tend to work with, and just ask your question, with earnest and honesty, like, what do I need to know about this relationship or
Mm.
about this, about my career or about whatever, and just you shuffle it really well, obviously, and then see what comes out. I just pull from the top and just boom, 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 and it's usually exactly what I need to know.
Yeah, it's interesting because usually when I find that I work with tarot more and more,
Mhm.
it almost becomes as if the deck knows you
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you develop your own connection. What do they call it? Divination,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it really is a connection. Some people are like, yeah, you let other people use their decks, and I don't let other
Mhm.
people use my deck because I am very connected with it, and I've had it for
Mm,
like 10 years now. Uh,
yeah.
but it depends on your style and what you're, what you how connected you are with it or not. But it's a really wonderful tool, and also for developing your intuition and just, yeah, being connected to your higher self and your guides.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I actually won't read for other people. Because they
Mhm.
will ask me, they will say, "Oh, do you read for other people?" Because I'll tell them that's one of the daily, practices I do in the morning. And I'll tell them, "No, I don't." Because really, for
Mm.
me, it's a relationship as to see what's reflected in my inner realm.
Mhm.
Um, and I always like being able to guide people to their own selves of like using the deck themselves and kind of gleaning what information that they see in the cards rather than me interpreting it for them.
Exactly. Yeah, I always encourage my clients just to empower themselves, but if they're just
Yeah.
starting on their journey and they're not connected with their intuition at all yet, then I definitely will, if they want
Mm.
a reading, I give them a reading, and it's usually very loving, and I use Reiki guides and things. So it's always very loving and very positive. Even if we need to clean up some stuff, I try to say it in a gentle way.
Oh, that's always nice, right? When you're getting a download, you're like, do I say that or not? No.
I just go ahead and say it if that's what's communicated, like just say it, try to say it
Yeah.
gently and lovingly, but just say what needs to be said. Mhm.
Yeah. And so you use tarot, so then how did you even get into hypnotherapy?
Oh, that was another one. So
Yeah.
I left New York and I was like, what am I supposed to do? Because I left my
Uh-huh.
career, left my apartment, the whole thing. And I just was a little bit distraught, like, oh my God, like, what am I
Mm.
supposed to do now? I don't want to start over. I was in real estate at the time. I was like, I don't want to start over in California. I went back
Oh,
to my
yeah.
hometown, of LA. And I was like, I don't want to start all over again. That's just too much. So
Right.
I went to a hypnotherapist who's fabulous in Santa Monica. And it was so fun. It was such a cool experience. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
She connected me with my higher self, and it was as if I was in the deepest meditation that I've been in, and I
Hmm.
could literally feel this energy, this huge, beautiful presence just come out when she called in my higher self, and I was like, whoa, this is
Mm.
amazing. And it gave me a vague answer. It said you should just travel. So that's what I've been doing. But
Wow.
but eventually it did lead me to that lead me into being a hypnotherapist. I said, this work is really effective for me. I would love to help other people with it.
Mhm.
It's very beautiful. It's a beautiful work. It's a beautiful, yeah, practice.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so how do you use it? Do you use it on yourself as well?
Yes. I feel like I'm a bit more resistant to myself.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, but I do record my own voice and I'm learning to like silence my inner critic and listen to
Mhm.
my own voice. Which I think is very powerful because a lot of times we want to listen to outside voices and other people, but it's really, we have it within us to heal ourselves. So, I'm listening to myself, but mainly I use it on my clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would love to tap into that more of just quieting that inner critic and
Mhm.
learning to listen to that inner voice. So when did you first realize you had your own inner voice?
Oh, wow. Definitely when I was younger, when I started meditating, because it was, when you just start quieting down and then you hear this, this, voice or whatever it is, however it speaks to you. Sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's an actual voice. It's like, whoa, what was that? Oh, this is interesting. What does it have to say? And yeah, just connecting with it and um, being in its presence is amazing. Being present is amazing.
And so how do you try to bring more presence into your life every day?
Ooh, I try.
Yeah.
Some days it's just, it's very hectic and busy, but definitely meditation daily really helps. I love chanting, I love singing, I love doing yoga, reading in my deck, just a number of things. Yeah, just breathing. I do a lot of breath work, just so many tools. Just being present in nature and just sitting there and looking at a tree.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you got the inner voice told you, okay, you have to go travel. When you had
Mhm.
that first hypnotherapy session in LA, then what did you do with the information after that?
Well, I was a little like surprised because I was like, I came in here to know about my career.
Yeah. What do you mean
Yeah,
travel?
I was like, and I thought about, oh, maybe it means to be a travel writer or something, but I knew I wanted to do something more um uh spirit based or spiritually based and just more impactful. Although I love travel and it's super impactful and you just meet and learn about so many different things. Um, but I just started traveling like very slowly. I like went out to the desert and it was like everywhere I went, I learned like a new spiritual tool and a new spiritual practice. So my traveling was like this spiritual journey as well, which has been really cool. And
Yeah. So
it,
oh, go ahead.
sorry. No, you go ahead.
So what were some of the spiritual tools that you picked up on your journey?
Yeah. So right after that, I went to Palm Springs, which is like amazing energy
Yeah.
where Joshua Tree is and all of that. That's where I started reading more tarot,
Oh.
just really like connecting with it every single day and just really getting downloads and stuff like that, which is amazing. And then I'm trying to think. I've been all over. I don't say
Yeah.
I've been all over. I haven't been all over, but I feel like I have. And then let's see, Mexico, obviously, just wow, so much from like breath work to plant medicine to I did my hypnotherapy training here, but it was online. To
Uh-huh.
so many things. Like this has been a huge spiritual awakening just being here in Mexico and the energy and the people and all the good stuff.
Wow. So where
Mhm.
did you decide to go in Mexico after you were in Joshua Tree?
So I went actually after Joshua Tree, I went or to Palm Springs rather. I went to Puerto
Hmm.
Rico, which
Oh,
was amazing, amazing. didn't even know it was there. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew about it, but I didn't know how special it is there. And
Mm.
that started awakening me like into just living with nature and thinking about things like that. And then I went to Costa Rica, which was like crazy.
So much fun there.
So much energy. I was like living in the jungle at a yoga retreat center and
Ugh.
doing yoga every day. And that was just, it was very challenging and very interesting.
Oh, challenging. How so? And which yoga retreat center? That sounds fun.
Well, it was a little crazy, so I'm not going to say the name. Uh,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it was definitely, I think it was the time because it was right before the pandemic. I went from January to
Oh.
March, right? And like
Oh.
March, like things hit the fan. So I think it was just that time and that energy. It was just like living in the jungle is crazy. I mean, you've got them monkeys screaming all night long. You've got
Right.
all kinds of insects you've never seen before. It was a lot. But it was also just very beautiful and transformative. Like my heart was super open from just doing yoga every day,
Mm.
overlooking the ocean and, just connecting in that way, but also dealing with the dynamics of the retreat center, which I thought would be more calm and harmonious, which was not at all.
Yeah, because everyone's like, shit's hitting the fan. Are we going to close down? What are we going to do with all these people?
Exactly. So they said, "Oh, you can stay with us, and we'll be safe up here because nobody's up here." I was like, "No." My friend and I were like, "No, we gotta go."
Oh, wow. So were you able to actually leave Costa Rica?
Yes, I left Costa Rica. I went home to my family
Yeah.
in the South, and I had a lot of healing work to do there, which was beautiful but very challenging. So, like I said,
Yeah.
everywhere I went, it was like, okay, I have lessons to learn here.
Right. That's so interesting because that just reminds me of the heroine's journey when you come back to the place that, coming back to home, right? And
Mhm.
becoming this new person and emerging. And so what lessons were coming up for you as you were going back to that place?
Yeah, going back to my family, like my home is the South, is in Kentucky. That's where I was
Mm.
born. I was
Mhm.
raised in LA since 3, but I always went back to where my grandparents and my aunts and
Yeah.
uncles are. It was a lot. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a
Yeah.
very tough time just dealing with um, the repercussions of family trauma, health things, people just don't take care of their health as well there. So that was affecting a lot.
Mm.
There was just a lot of dynamics going on there, but it was also like I felt I was like surrounded by family. So I just felt safe, especially during that kind of time. Like I was happy I wasn't alone and isolated. I got to see my grandma every day, which is like the love of my life. so,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like it again, it was a beautiful time, but very, very challenging. And we were also having riots during that time. So
Right.
it was a lot. It was a
It
lot.
was a lot for a lot of people. And sometimes in retrospect, I just think, wow, I can't even believe we were there and to where we are today. It's just
Mhm.
literally night and day. And you start to think, at what point did it start to change little by little to the point where it's almost as if it was black and white, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
And so after you were in Kentucky, when did you decide to travel to another place?
I had to get out of there, girl. I was like, okay, this is long enough. I was there, I think, for 5 months, and I said, I love you all, but I need my sanity.
Right,
So
right.
I said, there's nowhere open. Where can I go? And Spirit again was like, Oaxaca. I was like, what's Oaxaca? Where is and they just kept saying Mexico. And I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on over there.
Right. Yeah.
And my family's like, oh no, don't go there. But I was like, it can't be much worse than what's happening here. So I said, you know what, if it's horrible, then I can just fly back home. I was like, if it's
Right.
and I loved it. I loved it. I
Ugh,
loved it. Loved it. It was just the best thing ever.
that's amazing. So what did you love when you touched down?
Oh, well, I touched down in Oaxaca City and it's gorgeous. It's a colorful colonial city. The food was amazing. But I said, I need the beach. I need the ocean. I need to, be in that salt water, clearing myself out every day. So I hopped on a flight to Puerto Escondido
Mm.
and I just fell in love. It's the cutest place. The people are friendly. I literally made friends just like swimming in the ocean, you know?
Oh, it's just saying hi to everybody. Hey.
You just making friends in the ocean. When you're a kid again. It was very much a inner child healing type of journey and just exploring
Mm.
nature, going to the beach every day, enjoying that, eating good food, healthy, fresh fruits every day and seafood if people who like seafood. And it was perfect. It was really what I needed. Like no stress at all.
Oh, that's amazing. And so, how long did you stay there for?
I was there the first time for 3 months, and then a friend that I met in a hostel. She was from Germany. She's like, "Let's go around." I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So we traveled around, basically all of the South. Starting in Chiapas and then going all the way to. I ended up in Bacalar by the end
Uh-huh.
of I think it was 2 months journey. So yeah, we
Wow.
just hopped along, and I wasn't working at that time, so you could do that.
Right, right. Because, yeah, right. You said, and so where did you find yourself? Because I know initially
Mm.
in the beginning you said, oh, I asked about career and then I was told to travel by spirit. And
Mm.
so as you were just on your journey of traveling to different places where you were meeting yourself, how did you make sense of all of that? What was happening around you and inside of you?
Well, journaling, I journal every single day. I've been journaling since I've, had that spiritual experience at 18. So I've got loads of journals.
Yeah.
And that just helps me process things. But actually in LA, like a little bit after I did this hypnotherapy session, I met a woman that was like, you know what, you'd be a great hypnotherapist and coach. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just didn't think of anything, but it planted a seed. And I was resisting. I was like, oh, I don't want to be a hypnotherapist. I was making up all kinds of excuses. I don't know why. But
Yeah.
I think it just slowly planted a seed. And yeah, I went, I just I guess I was starting to gather my self-confidence again. And because when I left New York, it was a very traumatic time as well, like a lot going on, relationship wise. And so I was really just gathering my energy back, my self-confidence and my, feeling that I'm capable of like helping people and of doing the work basically. So yeah, and just grounding myself again in my spiritual practices and all of that good stuff and my health, taking care of that. And yeah,
Right.
eventually I think I had a couple more hypnotherapy sessions with her, and I said, okay, I'm ready. I can do this. I, I'm ready to like show up. That took a lot, like a lot of shadow work and all of that stuff as well,
Mhm.
just to be ready to present myself to the world.
Yeah. So what was coming up for you in that shadow work? What were you,
Mhm.
diving into?
So much, just feeling afraid, just very afraid. There was a lot of fear, just a lot of fear
Mm.
of exposing myself, or being weird or too woo-wooey. All of these things, because my family has a very church background. They're very religious.
Oh,
So, but I know that, they do some things. My granny has so many superstitions. I'm like, well, no, I don't think that's from the church.
yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, "Mm, I don't think that's that. Something else going on
Yeah.
there."
Uh-huh.
So I just started accepting myself more and accepting my gifts and just say, you know what? It's okay to be weird. It's okay if people see you as weird. I'm here to help people. I was like, okay, I am a light worker. I am here to do hopefully big things. And it's, just accept that, and it's okay, and help other people accept that too.
So as you were finding all of these different tools for yourself, was there any resistance to integrating them and practicing them in your life because you came from a religious background, family that was very much like, oh, not into the woo woo, but this could be considered woo woo, right?
Definitely. I think it was in privacy. It's like, no, I
Mm,
embrace all this crazy stuff. I love it, but putting it out there was so much. Oh my gosh, I had to really,
yeah.
at one point I was just like, just fucking do it, okay? Like a drill sergeant, like put that post on Instagram, damn it.
Yeah.
And I just started slowly, putting it out there, and yeah, it just slowly but surely it started, uh, you know, coming about. But it was a lot of resistance, and it took a while. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And so today, how has your work evolved? I mean, how has it all come together? And what was it like even putting yourself out there?
Yeah, so I started with hypnotherapy. A lot of people are into past lives, but I said, this is interesting, but
Mm,
I didn't know what exactly I wanted to focus on. First, I was focusing on like just helping people quitting smoking, which, is a big thing for me because it's my uncle passed away from,
mm,
smoking. And I just, wanted to help people just with that because it's very effective. But I was working with a coach, or, a friend coach, and we did a hypnotherapy session on inner child. And boy, did that strike a nerve. I mean, it was very triggering. It was very triggering. And I didn't know um, that I had that much going on there. Like I had done breath work, I did a whole rebirthing thing, like training, and I did some somatic work, but I didn't, somatic trauma work, but I didn't realize just the depth of how wounded my inner child was until that, like, it was a very brief hypnotherapy session. And I said, I got to work on this. I got to work on this for
wow.
myself. And I want to help other people because this is a lot of pain. And I just, it like saddened me that I had that much pain and that other people have that much pain. And I just want to help people, to heal that.
Mm. And so you said it was, it was short. It was a short session, but so impactful. Was there a specific experience that you were working on, or was it just the whole inner child itself?
Yeah, it was. Well, we were actually working on money, but
Mm,
somehow we got into inner child, and like maybe it was a relationship with money. But what what I felt was this deep sense of abandonment. And
mm.
it was so painful. Like I literally got sick the next day. It was a
Wow.
whole thing. Yes, it like the abandonment wound is like I think one of the deepest wounds that we can have. And it just I said, I'm like, I'm working on this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I just started attracting more and more clients and people who also wanted to work on this. And they work on different things. Sometimes it's
Mm,
coming from they have anxiety attachment issues, and that it's oftentimes because they feel like they were abandoned or rejected when when they're a child, and it results in that. So it's all of these different avenues that people are coming to it, but it's a lot, almost, I mean, not almost every adult issue, but a lot of our adult issues are from inner child, from our childhood. So
yeah. No, absolutely. It's so interesting because it is a part of us that we do have to revisit. Um, and it's something that allows us to heal the present, you know?
exactly. As soon as you heal that that wound, whatever it is, or that memory that your inner child is holding, you're no longer anxious. You're no longer, or you're less and less, right? You're in
Right.
baby stages, but you just have so much more security in yourself that you
Mhm.
don't have to respond to things, automatically like you would when you were a child. And it's such beautiful work, and it's very effective, which is like amazing for me, because like I'm like, I thought I looked good with my inner child. I did all of this stuff and vipassanas and yogaing and breath working, and no, I needed to go directly to the source.
Yeah. And so after you had that session with your friend, what did the process and that journey look like of meeting your inner child thereafter?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I was angry. Like, I was very
Right.
angry at my friend for triggering me,
Yeah.
right? Which is a very common reaction, right? Like, it's like in relationships, when our partner triggers us, we're like, how dare you? But it's really our stuff that we need to heal. So, I just sat with it for a while and did a
Mm,
lot of journaling. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do more hypnotherapy at that point on it, because it was so tender and so
mm,
raw. But I just started reading more and more about the inner child. I started reading a book called Inner Bonding, and just more and more, like, getting more and more into this, because
mm,
again, I thought, oh, I healed my inner child with my rebirthing thing, like, but no, there's so many layers, I guess, to it. Or there, no, there are so many layers to it. And a lot of it is, breathing is wonderful. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool, but we have to really get into our psyche, get into that memory, and heal it, and let
mm.
that child know in that moment that they're safe, they're loved, all their needs are met. All of those things, that whatever they need, and it'll tell us what it needs in that moment, and just give it that. And it just works. It's like, it
Yeah.
works.
I'm
Mhm.
so curious. You mentioned the rebirthing
Mhm.
experience. What was that like, and how was it different than your hypnotherapy experience of not being able to access that deep of a part of you where you felt like you could truly connect with your inner child?
Mhm. Well, the rebirthing was really interesting. That was another one. I was like, oh, I thought I was just doing a breathwork training,
Right,
It was
right.
really a rebirthing thing, going in to your, because a lot of I guess the premise is that we have birth trauma, as well, depending
Mhm.
on, like, the drugs our parents took when they were, like, when she was, induced in labor, and all those things. And also looking at our parents and their dynamics. But you're definitely in a trance state, but I
Mhm.
don't think we're going directly to the specific memory that triggers it, because there's usually always a specific first memory that, like,
Mhm.
implants that wound, and it just stays with us, and it grows and it grows and it grows. But when we're able to go right to the root, and specifically, and heal that specific memory, which we do in hypnotherapy, then it kind of like, how do you say, like, it undoes the knot, right? And it just,
Mm.
like, things just start to disintegrate, and all of that anxiety and shame and guilt and all these different emotions just start to, like, just basically go. Just go.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, how have you incorporated the inner child healing in your work today? And what does your work today even look like?
Yeah, it's primarily focused on inner child healing. And then
Mhm.
it's usually people come to me from, like, because they have attachment issues and things of that nature,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of the attachment issues are because of inner child wounds. So
Mhm.
it's basically, giving, where we talk about, what's going on in their life, where are they seeing these triggers, what specific thing they want to work on. And then we do our hypnotherapy session. And I incorporate Reiki as well, which helps, like,
Mhm.
clear out and give support, especially when, we go very deep, and it can be
Yeah.
very painful. But by the end of the session, it's like we're in a calm place. We're
Mm.
feeling good. I make sure everyone feels good before we leave, so that we know it's resolved. and you're not like,
Right.
leaving the space with this, gaping wound, basically. So,
Hmm.
so it's very powerful. It's very beautiful. We need that support system, right? A lot of us, we have, parents that did the best they could, but they were also dealing with their own traumas and their own upbringing. So we do a little bit kind of intergenerational type of healing. That's we can do that, before your inner child session or after. And I also just ask people, let's bring in whoever you feel supported by, whether it's people who passed over, your ancestors, your guide, your galactic family, like the universe,
You bring in
whoever,
everybody.
bring in the whole crew. Let's just like know that you're supported and you're loved. Let's bring in all that love. And it's beautiful.
Mm. And so when you are working with people, what are you the most excited about?
Oh, I love the results. I love like hearing back from them and like, oh my God, I feel more secure in myself, or I feel less anxious, or I feel more confident, or I quit smoking because my inner child and I are so cool now. Like I don't hate myself anymore. It's just all of these different things. And just to like know that people are happier and healthier and having more beautiful and abundant relationships with themselves
Mhm.
and with others is mm, it's
That's
beautiful.
beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Mhm.
And so what current spiritual lessons are you working on today? I know you said that usually when you travel, you like kind of hit something and like what is there anything that you're continually coming back to in this point in time?
Well, I'm really digging more into my inner child work. At first I
Mhm.
was like, I was doing a lot, but then like now I'm like, okay, I need a therapist. I need
Right.
regular hypnotherapy sessions because I was just in a brief romantic situation, and I got very triggered, and I was like, wow, okay, this is a big learning lesson. I still have work to do, and it's ongoing.
Yeah. What, if you feel comfortable, what was specifically about it that made you feel like, okay, I need to get back into this work again?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so funny because we always think we're fine when we're by
Yeah.
ourselves. Like, I'm great, but when we get into relation, that gives us such beautiful lessons if we're willing to learn, and we're willing to see it. So I mean, so many things came up. Like jealousy, abandon, rejection stuff. And it's like I think, "Oh, I dealt with it already," but there's just different layers of it and there's different aspects of it. And so it's just something that's ongoing. And
Yeah.
I just was talking with another hypnotherapist and she said, I'm 73 and I'm still working on this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting, right? When you think about it, and we hear it all the time that healing is not linear. It's not like people also say another level, new devil, another level. And it's like, even though you're at another level, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are progressing. It's like those wounds. I mean, this is my opinion. Those wounds will still be there, but it's how can you attune to yourself? How can you attune to your inner child so it
Mhm,
doesn't take you under, so you're not
mhm,
reacting from a self-sabotaging place, so you're not, in your patterns again, but it's like noticing it. Like that's the point of meditation, is to have those thoughts but not follow those thoughts. And so that's how you strengthen the
mhm.
muscle of not letting those thoughts take you under,
Yes,
but they're
yes.
still going to be there.
Yeah, they're there. I think if you, once you've done the healing work with as
Yeah.
far as like hypnotherapy and the energy work, I think it's less and less triggering.
Right.
It just depends on the person and how deep the wounds are. Some things are very traumatic and they're just going to take more time. And it's just like I have some clients like we don't jump into that traumatic memory the first session. No, we have
Mhm.
to lay the groundwork It's just going to take some time. And, that's the process. That's the work. But yeah, there are different layers and there's different levels, but awareness is key, like you said,
Yeah.
just not being taken over and knocked over by the emotions is really, whew, that's key.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think I passed that test, but you know, well, I love helping others, but I realize I need to help myself more, you know?
Mm.
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm. And so what do your spiritual practices look like today?
Hmm. Well, I always have to meditate. I just feel like off if I don't. Like
Yeah.
even if it's 20 minutes and it's not even deep at all, at least I've sat for 20 minutes and did that. And just being in, like right now, I'm loving being in nature. I'm in the mountains. It's not like, it doesn't have to be super deep all the time. Like, sometimes I am like super deep in it and doing my breath work every day and yoga and like,
Yeah.
but other times I'm just like, just playing with the dogs and just being present and happy is cool.
Uh-huh.
That's very helpful. And always journaling, always journaling, always listening to others. I love your podcast
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, just listening and learning and a lot of reading and a lot of writing and I do Reiki on myself. I do metta meditation as well,
What kind
because
of meditation was that?
it's meta.
Oh, meta. I thought you said beta. Meta. Yes, yes,
Mhm,
yes. Love meta
mhm.
meditation.
And usually every Sunday I do some breath work with a group online and yeah, just random things. But there's a few daily things that just like I have to have foundationally. But
Mm.
I feel like I have enough on my plate with this inner child work. So
Yeah. And so how does that look like in your life today? Of how does she show up? How do you connect
mhm.
with her?
Yes, yeah, it's always really good to connect. So I love just like doing some artwork. I've loved since I was a child cooking and baking. I used to have my little easy bake
Ooh.
oven.
Yes, yes, yes. Easy bake. I know what you're talking about.
So dangerous. Like, why do we have these things? But yeah, I just like I try to cook and bake. I try to do art. I always love animals, so I spend time with the dogs or with the horses, and just yeah, just connecting, just trying to be gentle and loving and kind to her, asking her what she needs.
Mm.
If I'm feeling a little bit off or anxious, is just connecting with my heart and just asking her, what's up? What's going on? What do you need? Sending her love, doing Reiki on my inner child and metta on my inner child and just and I love mirror work. I started mirror work again and
Mm.
oh, that's so powerful. Mm.
Yeah. For people that don't know what mirror work is, how do you personally do that tool?
It's very easy, just looking in the mirror, looking in your eyes. I say my name and I just say, I love you. And I say, and I just list all the things I love. I love your hair. I love your forehead. I love your ears, just all these things. And it's so beautiful. And it really makes you like see the beauty in yourself and how higher self sees you. And
Mhm.
it's very powerful.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's so beautiful. And so for people that are interested in wanting to work with you, what kind of offerings do you have and where can they find you?
Yes, so I do one-on-one hypnotherapy sessions. They're usually always done online because you're in your safest place, which is usually your bed. And
Right.
so it's very effective. So I do one-on-one hypnotherapy sessions, and then that always includes some type of energy work. And then I send you lots of exercises and practices to incorporate, like tapping, which is I know you do, which is amazing. And yeah, that's my offerings for now. I'll probably start a coaching practice eventually, but that's what I do for now. And I'll probably start doing some group stuff soon. And you can reach me on Instagram at love.light.b.
Ooh, perfect. And I will put all of that in the show notes, including your website and how people can follow you, get in touch with you. And, usually before I end each episode, I like to ask the guests, what are you doing to fill your own self love cup and connect to the little you?
Mm, mm. Well, yeah, I just, like I said, just doing my mirror work, playing. I love playing. Just play more. I'm playing
Yeah.
more. It's summertime. Have a good time. Yeah, I'm filling that up and having more joy. It's really important.
Yeah. And then is there anything else that you would like to share before we wrap up?
No, this has been a beautiful and fun interview, and I really appreciate you. I love connecting with you.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on here, Deondra. It was so lovely to connect with a fellow friend, sister, and intuitive guide. And I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode. And I can't wait to catch you for the next one. All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.